Charlie and I were in the park.
Because I'm about to be in a terrible accident. But really, I should have cleaned up the grease over there. And they should never put the deep fryer so close.
Hey everyone, it's WOWMAN, and in today's episode, I did want to take a look at some very disturbing PSAs that I've come across. Some PSAs that have truly shaken me to my core. So now the world of PSAs has always been something that has continued to freak us out constantly, and that's kind of the intent. PSAs being a form of media used to share important information to help a community, to convince people to make choices that will help keep their family and friends, the community and environment healthy and safe. So essentially the purpose of PSAs is to spread a dire message that needs immediate attention. However, as to the lengths that some of these PSAs go to, they can be truly terrifying. So terrifying, in fact, that if you were to have seen any of these in the middle of the night, I'm sure that it would haunt you for weeks, with each video continuing to get more disturbing than the last. And the last video that we're going to be taking a look at in this video is so disturbing that I'm going to be saving it for the end, because this one seriously made me very scared and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to sleep tonight. So that's awesome. And yes, before we begin, my name is WOWMAN. Please do not forget to subscribe, as it would be great to have you, as well as liking the video and commenting "brah." That way we can get launched into the YouTube algorithm together. But yeah, with all of that out of the way, let's get into these very disturbing PSAs. The first PSA video that I wanted to take a look at is a video called "Live With It." Also, a bit of a warning before we get into every single one of these PSAs, as these videos are going to be covering topics that do contain things like car accidents, DRUGs, and minor gore. So if that is something that you are uncomfortable seeing, I would recommend watching another one of my videos that is less intense. The video begins and we're shown a man brushing his teeth, but upon looking at the ground, there is a child lying there, completely disfigured. The man makes it to the office and the child continues to follow him, unresponsive, on the ground. Everywhere the man goes, the child is there. This red-haired kid with a blue sweater. And as the man goes about his days, he is evidently being haunted by the fact that he caused the accident that took this child's life. Going through the phases of life, completely contrasting the life of the child, whose life was ended extremely prematurely. The man in the video is clearly filled with regret and remorse, an accident that he can never take back, but it is one that he could have prevented. The child's lifeless body following the man everywhere he goes, from morning till night. The child is there. Kill your speed, or live with it. It's 30 for a reason. Now, the reason I find this specific PSA so chilling is because of the fact that this man is being haunted every single day by the child that he killed. Accident or not, this is on him, and he's forced to live with it for the rest of his life, unable to change the past. And not only that, the guilt is portrayed in an extremely depressing way. The body of the child following him everywhere he goes. It's just very bleak. And what is even creepier about this video is that it aired on TV in the United Kingdom. One comment even saying, quote, that they were around 6 or 7 when this advert came out, and when I watched it, it scarred me for life. I'm now 15 and I still remember it. I will never forget. There's even another comment that says, 10 years later and I have never forgotten this advert. Scarred me for life when I was a kid. And there's just a bunch of other comments saying how this specific PSA really affected them as a kid. The one at the end used to scare me as a kid. I never wanted to turn in my bed because I thought I might see it. it was very effective. Which is kind of ironic because this video was meant to scare adults into driving safely, and it ended up, scaring the exact opposite. It scared the children that are supposed to be protected from reckless drivers. Nonetheless, this is still a very disturbing PSA about the dangers of driving recklessly. This next PSA was released in Scotland through the Scotland Against DRUG initiative in 1996. The video depicts a man having his photograph taken at a party. Now at first the man is smiling and everything seems to be going fine. He seems to even be enjoying himself. But as the video continues, his face gets increasingly more distorted as the effects of the substance that he's on takes a toll on his physical and mental appearance.
Rotten teeth, depression, anxiety attacks, personality changes, paranoia. Take speed, ecce, or acid, and you can develop any of them.
Now this one is a very short PSA, only about around 30 seconds long, but the horror of this one is just very unsettling. Watching a time-lapse of someone succumb to addiction is truly heartbreaking. Now this one is obviously very fictionalized. You wouldn't end up looking like this at all, but it does do a very good job at scaring people about the real physical and mental effects that addiction can have on its users. And this PSA's target audience is most likely children and adolescents, trying to scare them away from the dangers of DRUGs. Nonetheless, even seeing this just on its own, not knowing the context of what this is about, it still continues to be a very horrifying video. Seeing this man's face change from a completely fine, healthy person to what looks like a disfigured, lost soul.
Personality changes, paranoia.
Now this next PSA is directed towards road safety, once again trying to warn audiences how important it is to drive the speed limit. The PSA originating from an organization called Doe Safety, based in Ireland, released back in 2014. And now this PSA not only aired in cinemas, but it also aired on television as well. So you could have most likely, if you lived in Ireland, could have just saw this PSA in the middle of the night, which is very scary. Titled Shame on You, the PSA starts with a classroom of children getting ready to go on a field trip. And on the other side of town, a man gets ready to go to work in his blue sedan. The children explore the beauties of nature on their class trip, completely unknown to the horror of what is about to happen. Because the man from earlier is driving way too fast when he turns the car and it flips over off the side of the road. The entire classroom of children are hit by the flipped car.
Speeding has killed a classroom of our children.
And what really creeps me out about this specific video is the fact that it just shows the children getting crushed by the car. Even though there isn't any blood and it doesn't look, too realistic, it still remains extremely unsettling seeing a car flipping over onto a group of children. It's seriously unsettling stuff considering this aired on television and in cinemas as well. But there is a catch to this PSA because it actually wasn't on air for that long. In a re-upload of this video, it states that this ad was so horrifying that it was banned on TV before 9 p.m. Now that kind of just seemed like a little bit of clickbait to me, so I kind of dug into it. And digging into this PSA even further, it actually was banned. I found an article released back in 2014, the same year the PSA came out, covering the backlash that this video faced. Because in the article it actually states that the department created a 60-second spot that's so intense that it's already been banned from airwaves before 9 p.m. The article even goes a little bit further into this matter, stating that the director of this video defended the ad, saying that the aim of this campaign is to challenge and dispel, once and for all, through this emotional and uncomfortable message, the false perceptions that many road users have as to the truly horrifying consequences of speeding.
I'm the sous chef here. With any luck, I should be head chef by next year. I've got this amazing fiance, who I won't be marrying this weekend.
Now this next PSA video is a collection of tapes that was aired in Canada. I wasn't able to find the original release dates of these tapes, but they did air somewhere around 2007. These PSAs are primarily focused around the dangers of the workplace and how to prevent them. But perhaps the most disturbing part of all of these tapes is that each person involved knows what's about to happen. They are fully aware of the accident about to take place. For example, the first tape, and perhaps the most horrifying of the collection of tapes, is about a chef who's about to get married to her fiancé this weekend. But she knows that the wedding is not going to happen, given the accident that's about to happen seconds later.
Because I'm about to be in a terrible accident. But really, I should have cleaned up the grease over there. And they should never put the deep fryer so close.
Somebody help me!
The next is about a construction worker who's on the job, working overtime so he can pay for him and his family to go on a vacation. But he knows that's not going to happen.
I'm working overtime because I want to take my family on a nice vacation. Soon they get a call telling them I was killed in an accident. But hey, I'm wearing a busted harness here. And the company should have checked those tanks to...
However, perhaps the most chilling of this collection of tapes is about an electrician. The tape begins and we're at the wake of the man who lost his life. But James lifts himself out of the casket, saying that this was no accident, but rather something that happened because of the company's failure to train him.
James was with our company for 10 years before this tragic accident.
An accident? What are you talking about? Your company never fully trained me to deal with high voltage wires. And the way they were insulated, it was obvious someone wanted to get home in a hurry. What was I thinking? Not wearing all of my safety equipment.
Now this next PSA tape that I wanted to take a look at is a little bit different from the rest of them, as it is an animation that was broadcasted on a children's network in the United Kingdom, 1973 being its original air date. The tape starts off by introducing us to a child and his cat, Charlie.
Charlie and I were in the park. Then this man came up and said, "Would I like to see some puppies?"
And horrifying enough, the child says yes, and the man immediately grabs the kid's hand. But Charlie the cat intervenes. The kid says no, and the man walks away.
And I was going to go, but Charlie stopped me. Charlie's reminded me, my mum says I shouldn't go off with people I don't know. Then the man went away.
The video ends with the child returning to his mother, and Charlie the cat leaving us with his final message.
He says never go anywhere with men or ladies you don't know.
Now there isn't anything specifically scary here in the traditional sense, at least. There isn't any gore or disturbing imagery. But what I found makes this specific PSA so unsettling is the art style and the portrayal of such a scary topic. Charlie and his owner are just enjoying themselves at the park when a strange man approaches them, and what's so scary is the fact that the boy would have gone with the strange man if it weren't for Charlie. We can even see the man spotting out the park before he even approaches the kid. This one definitely made me feel very uneasy when I first watched it. It made me feel like a kid again, just watching cartoons, and this freaky PSA comes on, warning children about the very real dangers of the world. Something about that being mixed in with childhood cartoons is just very, very disturbing.
Then this man came up and said, "Would I like to see some puppies?"
The next one that I wanted to show you guys is a video called Fire Prevention Searching. Released back in 1974, this PSA features someone going through the remains of what is left of this burned down home. The person makes their way around the entire house, being haunted by the voices of their children. The children burned in the fire, and the person is hearing their cries as they walk around the place that eventually became their tomb. Everything in the home was destroyed after the fire, everything inside of it, and the lives that resided within it.
Please keep matches away from children.
But yeah, that pretty much does it for these disturbing PSAs that will most likely make me unable to sleep tonight. With every video I lose more and more sleep, so eventually I'll just always be awake and always be making videos, so that'll be cool. But yeah, my name is WOWMAN. Please do not forget to subscribe. It'd be great to have you, as well as liking the video and commenting, to, propel us into the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, thank you so much for spending some time with me. It's always super great. And yeah, please stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.